1968. Capture of the USS Pueblo by North Korea. On January 23, 1968, the USS Pueblo, a Navy vessel, is launched in a surveillance of the North Korean coast when it is intercepted by North Korean patrol boats 16 miles from shore. The North Vietnamese launched the Tet Offensive. On February 24, 1968, the Tet Offensive ends when U.S. and South Vietnamese troops recapture the old capital of Hue from Communist Army who had it previous. Former U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon announces candidacy for president. Richard M. Nixon announces his candidacy for president. Many thought that Nixon had ended his political career 8 years earlier, when he had lost to John F. Kennedy in the 1960 election, but he had not. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. April 4th of 1968, MLK was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. He was remembered for his words and nonviolent tactics. Today he has his own day. A rally in occupation of the Columbian University Low Administrative Offices. The university was planned to participate in the Institute of Defense Analysis. Is kind of broken up by conservative students and some university security officers. The protesters went over to a spot where they were making a new gymnasium, but was used for recreation, and they took over 5 buildings. Talks to end Vietnam War and starts in Paris. After 34 days of talks to select a place for discussion, the United States and North Vietnam agreed to begin formal negotiations in Paris on May 10th. Robert F. Kennedy is assassinated. 12:50 a.m., Senator Robert F. Kennedy, a presidential candidate, is shot 3 times in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Mayor Richard Daley opens the Democratic National in Chicago. The convention just kept on growing and growing towards the Huberts' favor. They tried to make an 11 o'clock curfew. The first 2 nights it was peaceful, but then tensions started to rise. Women's liberation groups target the Miss America beauty contest. Protests became ritual disposal of traditional female roles. People said that they were going to have a bra burning ceremony, but never actually did. This was one of the first times people actually protested. Apollo 7 is launched in Florida. It was an 11-day journey which orbited Earth 3 times. This was an incredible breakthrough for America. Nixon elected president. Richard Nixon was elected on November 5th, but he only beat Hubert Humphrey in the popular vote by a few hundred votes. Election Day. 8 years after losing to John F. Kennedy in the 1960 election, Richard Nixon beats Hubert H. Humphrey to become president. Joe Frazier beats Oscar Bonavena in 15 for heavyweight boxing championship. Joe was undefeated and retained his heavyweight title by beating Oscar Bonavena. He beat him in round 15 of 16, and this is known as one of the biggest fights today in history. Apollo 8 is launched. This was the first U.S. mission to the moon. Apollo 8 had many firsts, like the first human on the moon. They also did many tests to make sure they could get to the moon and back. There's a famous picture taken from the moon.